What's going on, my Digi family? It's Scotty coming at you guys with a Bloomlord deck profile. A lot of you guys have requested this and been asking what my take is on the BT13 Bloomlord build. The build that I currently have is a build that I've been working on for a while now, and have been feel comfortable enough to share the list and see what you guys think or what you can use as a primer for your Bloomlord builds. I've had a ton of success with this deck, getting tops at multiple events, doing well at locals, doing well in leagues and whatnot. So yeah, let me know what you guys think at the start here at the video, and at the end of the video, don't be scared to give me some critiques in the comments. But let's go ahead and get into the profile. So for the eggs, we only run 4. I no longer run a 5th egg because I no longer run Mimi in the deck, which I'll get into later. And the egg that we run are the 4 Cocomon. Now this is just a better Gummymon effect for us because it only counts our stuff, which we'll do more often than we will suspending our opponent's suspending our opponent's Digimon. So this comes up because we like to draw cards and keep a large amount of resource in hand in case our board gets destroyed or outed. We're able to just rebuild on the spot off of essentially nothing, which helps a lot. Also, you can run Argomon, but the memory manipulation of the deck is already fairly decent. You don't need more, in my opinion. So, like, you don't need to run the Argomon, is basically what I'm saying. You can still consider it, but I think the draw 1 off of the Cocomon is just more relevant. Into our rookies here, we've got the 4 Palmon and the 4 Lalamon. Now I'm putting these in tandem with each other because the fact is they do the same thing, they just add different targets essentially. So Palmon's going to add basically 2 Digimon. It's going to have a fairy and then anything plant vegetation kind of deal, and you get to add 1 of each. So you get to add a fairy and then you can add a plant or vegetation. Whereas Lalamon does the same thing, but it's going to add the Yoshino Tamer from our deck, which we do play. I like the searchers, the 8 searchers, because I like to hard play these because they generate a lot of value when you hard play them or play them off of your effects. The only difference between the two is Lalamon also has an inheritable that if you have a green tamer, any green tamer in play, you can decrease the evolution cost of the Digimon by 1. So we get a lot of play even if we're choked on memory or locked out of our memory gaining. We can still play with this effect. It doesn't come up as often, but it is still relevant to mention because we do have big costed Digi evolutions, and it's any of them, so you can turn a lot of your stuff into cheap or free with this card. The other rookies, 3 Pamuamon, no longer running 4 because I found myself at 4, evolving on top of it more than anything, and it doesn't generate value when you call it. You already want it on the field to suspend to call out one of the other guys with your effects, because then you get the whole shebang with it of suspending one of your opponent's Digimon. But mostly I was able to keep at least 1 on the field to suspend whatever and lock people under their own quartz bonds, which I was able to make a lot of awkward situations because of that, and whatnot. There is argument to run 4, but I chose not to. And then the only floodgate I run are 2 Terriermon. It's an off-green rookie, as I call it, because it's not a plant, vegetation, or fairy. We can't really search it unless it's our mem boost, but that's okay. You can realistically play this deck without any floodgates and just go all in on like searchers and card advantage, but with Mirage Galgo running around in a lot of memory gaining decks, I like this better, because it makes it for awkward plays essentially. Like they have to order things in a different way, or they can't use their memory boosts to really go off and whatnot, so it's pretty relevant, but at the same time you can make an argument for cutting it. That's it for rookies. We have 13 in total. 4s, there's nothing special. It's just the 4 red veggie. It's essentially another rookie for us, so 1-drop evolution and a plant that we can search or play off of our effects. And then we have the most busted level 4 for the deck, and it's never coming out. That's the 4 Sunflowmon from BT10. This does so much for the deck. It's a 3k plant vegetation fairy. It's got an inheritable that's similar to Cocomon, and it also has the ability to spawn out another body when we digivolve into it by suspending itself or another Digimon, which is insane for the deck. Probably the most busted level 4, and I would never run less than 4 or cut it from the deck entirely unless we got some other busted level 4 Sunflowmon, which we did get a new Sunflowmon, which I run 3 of from BT13. We don't really capitalize that much on it, so that's why I don't run it as a 4 of, but I do like it because it's a 3k plant that on its front side, you can suspend this Digimon to decrease the cost of the evolution by 2, as long as it's a fairy. It doesn't have to be the stack that this is in. It just has to be a fairy you're digivolving into to make it essentially free or cheap. It also has the same Lalamon inheritable. So again, this is why you don't need the Argomon egg anymore. You have too many ways of making things cheaper, free, or gain memory to make it a viable play. I only run the 11 champions here, level 4s. And it is a little bit awkward being 13 and 11, but you'll know why as I get along in the thing. And as long as I get along in the deck profile, you'll start to realize how well this deck operates on just the 24 targets we have here. Level 5s, we've got the 4 Juntarmon. I like this card. I think it's the best level 5 in the deck, or the best level 5 in general you can run in Bloomlord, because it does so much. It's a plant vegetation just like the whole deck, basically. It has a reasonable inheritable to gain a memory when you suspend one of your dudes. It doesn't count for attacking, it's only by an effect. And then it also has, you can suspend itself or something else on its front side and spawn another dude out, one of your 4 lowers. Everything but Terriermon can be spawned off of this card. So he really helps rebuild the boards and keep the boards flushed with enough bodies to make our Bloomlords extremely huge and attack aggressively. I do run 2 Lilamon simply because it can free play our Yoshinos. It's a fairy, and the inheritable of +1 its security attack is pretty relevant because you can turn the corner a lot faster with your 1 Bloomlord, and your second one could potentially just kill right on the spot. So yeah, if you get any combination of 2 Bloomlords with this and you're able to make the Bloomlord check like 4 or 5, the next one could almost kill them. We run 2 Cherrymons because the redirect and Digizorp are still relevant. Kind of deal. You have the potential to stay alive because of this, and it's the reason why we also don't run any blockers, is because we can just redivert an attack. And it's kind of hard to out because you can redivert it to anything. You can save itself. Like, I had a lot of people try to run it over, and I was like, redivert it to one of our level 3s we don't need, kind of deal. Or one of our big bodies to kill your dude. And then we run one of each of the restricted cards. Yes, this isn't a plant, just like Terriermon though. It's still relevant because of its inheritable, as well as being a free evolution. You can build the board, play Terriermons, play any of your level 3s and generate value. And then Blossommon's just there for the Digizorp, sad boy. Really wish he wasn't limited, but I could see why these cards were limited, made green busted. Yeah, not much I can say there. I run 10 level 5s because level 5s seem to be the hardest to search in this deck, which doesn't make sense to me, but happens. So yeah, 10 of them. You essentially are just playing Argomon as that 10th one. You don't necessarily need it, but free evolution is still fun. Makes you pop off a lot harder. Level 6s, nothing's changed really from previous lists that I've had. 4 Bloomlord, namesake of the deck, and the 3 Hydramon. Hydramon gives us a defensive backbone, which the deck kind of lacks, because our security is extremely weak. I'm going to state that right now. Green security options suck. So being able to protect our security is really, really nice. And Hydramon offers that when paired with Bloomlord, because Bloomlord can be the aggressor while you can sit back on this. And, you know, there were plenty of times where I was able to use this card better than I was this card because I couldn't be the aggressor. But I got a wide board, went into this, tucked a guy, and then now they swung and they lost all this memory. And in the mirror, this doesn't count your opponents, it only counts yours. So don't worry about the mirror match being a scary thing where you think this is like a blanket effect on both sides of the board. And then the last 2 Digimon I run are just 2 Quartzmon. It's the best level 7 to run in the deck. There's plenty of times where, once again, you aggressively start with like Lilamon times this, check like 3 or 4 security, and then you go Quartzmon and the game's over. The game is literally over. People conceded to that so many times. Option cards were all gas, just 4 green memory boost and the 1 hidden potential because it's restricted to 1. Searches pieces, gains this memory, and then this once again just reduces our evolution cost to 0 because, or yeah, literally to 0. And this was unlimited. This deck would be better than literally any deck in the format right now. And then the last 2 cards are just 2 Yoshino. I no longer run Mimi. I don't see the necessity for it. I never utilized Mimi very well in this deck, even though you probably could, or you should. I couldn't, but this is just better because we can gain memory for going into any of our lineup, and she can get free played off of the Lilamons, and she sets us to 3 as our memory tamer. That was just kind of a brief list. If you guys want to know more or demonstrate combos or certain scenarios, just go ahead and leave a comment in the comment down there and let me know. I really apologize that I'm not really going too thorough with the list because, like I said, not a lot has changed, and I think at this point a lot of people have either played against it or played the deck and should know what the cards do and how the deck operates. But this is just a primer build. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe, and be on the lookout for more videos. I've got a ton of content coming out now that I'm done with school and life has been able to allow me to make videos. So yeah, let me know what you guys think and what I can work on. Peace.